as well. So that's another thing. All right, peace to the family. This is Brandon B. Dixon, and you're tuned into another episode of the Power of Ownership podcast. I got my guest host Stephen Contreras here as well.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Yep, and I'm gonna let people start coming in here as well before we get started. Let's start by introducing the show, introducing ourselves, and then we'll go ahead and get started. For those people, I'll wait till some people come in. Send us some comments. We'll answer them live on air. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, we'll answer them live on air. But let's go ahead and get it started. My name is Brandon B. Dixon. I'm a published author, serial entrepreneur, mortgage broker. My book, Sales, the Nucleus of Any Profession, is out right now. It's a good read, good holiday read. So pick one up for Christmas. Make a nice gift for someone. So go ahead and pick that up and pass it out, and it'll be a good read. You can get it ready before the holidays so you can make your goals and make you some money next year in 2021. I got my guest host Stephen Contreras. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the show going.
Yeah, hey guys, Stephen Contreras here, geologist here in Houston, Texas. Kind of a studier of the arts and sciences, like a Renaissance man, trying to spread peace and love everywhere I go, and try to spread a little light on everyone who's trying to look for it. So that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to help the world go and move on.
Gotcha. So the show, we got the Power of Ownership podcast. We talk about not only ownership of businesses, properties, intellectual property, so on and so forth, but we also talk about ownership of the mind, body, and soul, bridging the gap between the unseen and the seen realm. So we're really the only show that does this. Most people talk about pragmatic stuff and stuff like that, and how to be successful in business, or people talk prosperity gospel, but nobody really talk, give you a pragmatic approach to bridge the gap. So we're the only ones that really do this. We got a niche market and we're growing, but we need your help to grow even more. So if you like what we do, and again, Cash App us, the Power of Ownership, $ the Power of Ownership on Cash App. Help us grow the show. Tell a friend to tell a friend if you can't donate. Give two people the link. Send two people the link. If you like what we're saying, if you listen to us on Apple or on Spotify. Steven has his own Cash App, Steven C1234 on Cash App. If you need a mortgage, again, my website, I'm gonna change this as well. HOC Mortgage is the website, but I have another one as well, www.applywithbee.com. It goes to the same website. Just click on the green Apply Now button. And again, I'm a mortgage broker by trade. So you're trying to get property, investment property, lots. I'm about to even get into commercial in a second here, so stay tuned for that. If you want to book me for consultation, motivational speeches, sales training, so on and so forth, www.billionaireloanofficer.com. Go there, book me, so on and so forth. I'm available 24/7. Give me a call, 832-775-8357. You can give me a call if it's about business only. Not, hey, guy, what you doing? It got to be about business. At Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. Add, like, subscribe, so on and so forth. At Stephen_Contreras_90 on all social media as well for Stephen. Let's go ahead and get this show rolling. This is the show for December 16th, 2020. And if you looked at our last show, and I guess people like it because our listening audience is up about 40%. Yeah, so this is a show that we're going to continue. If you guys like it, we'll make it a trend where we dive into scriptures and we kind of break down. We call it the breakdown series. So we're going to break down a couple of scriptures. We're going to break down a couple of things. We're going to relate it to a topic here that's on our mind. So it's just not going to be this our philosophy. We're going to show you within the scripture, where you could go and see the inspiration for our thinking. So what's been on my mind this week? Let's get right down to it. What's been on my mind this week is a lot of, it's a big gap. And I talked about this on the 8th this morning. It's a big gap between the mentalities of my generation and the newer generation. I'm Generation X, which is late 70s, early 80 babies. Early to mid 80s babies. Generation X, the unknown. I think Steve is millennial. I think you're in between the Generation X and Generation Z. Generation Z is people that's born
After
2000 or later.
yeah,
So the mentality wise is just totally different. Um, they're real sensitive. Um, it's things that I give you example like I gave earlier today is like look Takashi 6ix9ine like for my generation snitching is just prohibited. We just didn't do it. It's an unwritten law that if you did the crime, you do the time. You don't point the finger at anybody else. Nowadays, snitching is cool. You talk to Generation Z, like, yeah, well, at least he got money, and they forgive the fact that he just snitched. Snitch is like a death sentence for my generation. I also gave the example. Back in the days, I could tell Steve, hey man, you got a booger in your nose, and Steve will get a tissue and clean the booger out of his nose. No harm, no foul. You tell that to somebody from Generation Z, they'll be shocked and appalled, and they'll deny the fact that they have a booger in their nose. No, you're trolling me, man. I don't have a booger in my nose. I'm like, bro, you got a booger in your nose. So it'll be a fight, from just trying to help you out. So I wanted to start and talking about a couple of different angles, the Generation X versus Generation Z. One of the things we disagree about the most is, and I already see it, and I let Steve chime in on this from the get-go, is luck versus hard work. And I just don't see it in not only Generation Z, but in some millennials, that hard work factor, that's that foundation. A lot of them, I guess, because they see the YouTube people, overnight millionaires, and they don't have that pragmatic approach to success that we had as Generation X. They want to get rich quick. It's everything fast, everything microwave, everything is got to be instantaneous or it won't work, or they off to the next thing and they lose focus real quick. I'll open that to you and then I'm gonna dive in on that.
yeah. Like I said, I'm a millennial. I'm proud to be a millennial. Actually, I think we're that generation that saves the world, or we're the one who destroys it. It's one of the two options. We're the millennials. Generation Zs are the ones right after us. Who it's the last generation before everything changes. And I'd have to say, you're not wrong. There's a lot of hard work that is lost, and I do think that has to be done with like people not being able to play outside a lot when they're kids. A lot of people are stuck indoors nowadays, especially kids who are a lot younger than myself. Like Generation Z. We were lucky, the millennials, because we were born just in time for the computers. And being able to have that transition period. We're the generation of the transition between playing outside every day and then playing on the computer. Like my first computer was when I was 7 years old. Before that, we played, outside. Even when I was 10 years old, we played outside. You could ride bikes outside. You could play on the playgrounds. You didn't have to have your parents watching you everywhere. You bike across the neighborhood. All these things. I think that has a big factor to do with the work ethic in today's society because we weren't raised to take care of ourselves. Like you all had to depend on yourselves. Generation Z. Well, when we were in the middle ground in Generation X and Generation Z, they got stuck inside and had the computer raise them instead of the parents. And I think that's a big factor in all of this and how the programming works. Because also what happened is the human evolution evolved too. And the millennial generation is the first generation of having a high number of indigo children who can tap in left and right brain. And the problem was the schools weren't able to keep up with the changing brain chemistry. And so they were trying to program all these kids to like have the 1950s, 1960s work style. Well, they're just not built that way. They're built more creatively. And so when you have people telling you that you're not creative and you have to work this type of lifestyle, it builds up this negative factor. And so indigo children, you should Google it if you guys don't know what that is. It's a real thing. And before the 1990s, it wasn't very common. It was a very rare breed of people who were indigo children. And now they're almost everywhere because the brain has evolved over the last 60 years.
Right, right. I'm trying to adjust the lighting here. I'm super dark right here, but I don't know what's going on. But yeah, man. As far as just diving in, I agree with you. As far as the computer has a lot to do with it, I think parenting has a lot to do with it. As far
Playing
as
outside, no one plays outside anymore.
right, the type of parenting, and this the societal change. I think we're more and more parked in front of the TV and having the internet raise us instead. And look at it. The kids barely could hold a real conversation. They'll rather text message, and they'll be sitting right next to each other text messaging. They can't have a face-to-face conversation anymore. Everybody's has their head down right underneath each other and looking at their phone.
Mhm.
And it's a problem, because what happens is we're losing that face-to-face touch. And this is something that's primal, that's within us. When we lose that we're communal beings. We lose that community. We're losing something. Now we're getting out of touch, and now you're becoming even more and more programmable and becoming a bot. So you're subject to the being programmed if you lose that face-to-face touch. Like what Generation Z, they can't even talk to girls unless it's through a dating app. Because they're scared of rejection. Now, all right, if you swipe right, so you gotta like me. So there's, it eliminates that pain point of rejection. They can't go up to a girl and just have a girl tell them hell no.
Mhm.
It hurts too much. You see what I'm saying? So the stuff that we had to deal with that that gave you character in my generation, they took that out, with convenience as a pain point, and they took it out of society.
Yeah, and I do think that's the big issue, because like back in your day, you had to call just to talk to the girl's house. You had to call their house phone, right? And the dad would
Right.
answer. You
Right.
know,
The dad would answer. You have to,
answer.
what do you want with my daughter? And then you have to have a mean phone game. You have to entertain this girl with just your voice.
Mhm.
And you can check on her status all day, and you can look at pictures of her. You only seen her in school, or you only seen her when you had a chance to see her. So it's a different ball game. I want to dive into the really the first part of what I'm saying, because all of this relates to one another. All these topics relate to one another. Luck versus hard work. And it came to my attention this week that most millennials on down have the notion of, if it's for you, it's for you. And what they do is, if something doesn't work out within the first week or two, they're on to the next thing. They don't have the construct of, hey, whatever I set my mind to and I focus, no matter what I do, and I focus on this one thing, then I'll manifest it. They have the notion, all right, let me try this, and if it works out, it's for me. And if it doesn't, I'll go to the next thing. And so we got a series of a society, or a generation of people that's serial non-finishers, serial let me try this, serial non-accomplishment. Am I making sense? And I think this is a problem. Do you agree?
I semi agree. Yeah, I wouldn't classify everyone like that, but I mean, it is a problem. I think how you put it is pretty much spot on. I think that has to go back to the brain development. I think we can't help it as a generation. There's studies that came out probably like 5 or 6 years ago that said that we'll have like 25, 30 jobs before we finish,
Right.
until we retire. And
Per-
that was,
per- per- Perfect point. I love that you brought that point. I've had in my lifetime, I'm 44 years old. I've had less than 5 jobs
Mhm.
in my lifetime. You're what, 30? How
Yeah,
many jobs have you had in your life?
one. I'm less than 5'2". I think I'm at 4 right now. I think, yeah, because I got laid off because of the pandemic, so I got four
Right.
jobs.
But the average guy your age, how many jobs have they had at 30?
Oh, probably at least a handful. Unless you're in
Right.
like a skill or a trade, like that's what they should have been preaching to us when instead of like pushing college and the loans and everything, like trade skills.
Right.
People who are in trade, they have it set. They have a good steady job, good income.
Most people that I've seen have had jobs, at least 10 to 15 jobs by their 30.
Mm-hmm.
They switch jobs almost every year, sometimes twice a year, 3 times a year.
And companies don't like that either.
Right. And my generation would talk continuity, and it shows on your resume. If you're there, that shows that you're not loyal to any job, and it shows that you're not that you don't have any stability. It shows that you're unstable. So that's what we were taught in my generation. So let's dive into the scripture. I want to see what the scripture said about this. And I have a couple of scriptures that I want to go across. Let's see if I can share my screen here. Let's see. Let's see if you can see it here. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. So let's go to Proverbs 13:4. And we're going to do the King James Version. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
It says, the soul of the sluggard desire it and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. Mm-hmm. Let me repeat that again. The soul of the sluggard desire it and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. The soul. So, translation, what, and we'll go into, what you get from that, what I get from that. What I get from that is that the sluggish, the lazy, gets nothing. You have much to desire, but if you're diligent, you're vigorous, you have zeal about your work, that's when you have great wealth, you have abundance. So even the scripture backs hard work. It has said nothing about luck. I don't believe in luck. I believe in hard work. My mentor, Mattress Mac, always used to say, the harder I work, the luckier I get. I don't believe in right place, right time, and just bloop, bloop, out of the sky, something happens. That's not what the scriptures say. Now, does that happen sometimes? Does that anomaly happen where, okay, at the right place, right time? Yes, but I don't base my life on that phenomenon. I rather, hey, I rather build his house. All right, I need the foundation. I need this. I need that. Can I win a house from Publishers Clearinghouse? Sure, I could. But what are the odds?
Yeah.
So would you rather try to build a house first with your own hands or try to win one through Publishers Clearinghouse?
Yeah, I would rather build one for sure.
Right. So most millennials and Generation Z, they have this thing in luck. They don't say it directly, but they have this thing about luck. I could get rich in one day. No, you can't. Only if you win the lottery. Get rich quick is an oxymoron. Doesn't happen. It's a tedious, pragmatic thing, especially if you're going from 0 to 1 million. If you're going from debt to 1 million, that's a pragmatic thing. And this doesn't. Explain to me, how does this happen? How does all of a sudden you get $1 million in your bank account?
Yeah, it's impossible. Unless you have some.
Impossible. You win the lottery, you win the Publishers Clearing. But I don't base. How do you base your life based on those principles?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, you can't, because it goes back to that verse. The sluggish have to desire it. It's true. You have to build that foundation. You have to work for it. That's what made Michael Jordan such a great basketball player, is because he had that heart to win, the champion of winning. And some people aren't born with that characteristic, and they have to learn how to adapt it. But I used to actually believe in luck. I really did. When I was young and naive and how everything worked. I believe that I've been blessed my whole life, honestly. Like, I'll just be honest with you. There's things that have happened in my life that are unexplainable, and I accept that, and it doesn't happen to a lot of people. And I've also accept that, it is also me now putting in that realization that okay, maybe it isn't actually luck, but it's me manifesting what I need at that moment in time, which is
Right.
the same thing as hard work. But that's where it comes in. Like if you're not, what's the word I'm trying to look for? It's superstition is what it is.
Right.
If you're raised in superstition and paranoia, you're going to believe in luck, and that's
Right.
probably about 90% of the people believe in superstition and paranoia, and it stops them from achieving all their dreams because they're like, they're superstitious, they're paranoid, they don't trust themselves, they don't want to work on themselves, all these negative connotations. And then that's when the idea of luck comes in, because desire is a sin. You shouldn't want desire anything. You want to build everything to have what you want at all times. So when you have that desire and the luck, it actually makes that a negative connotation. So you
Right.
have to build.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that is the paradox in that small verse.
Mhm.
When you desire it, that leads that's the loop. So you should be diligent at all times. That's the only key. That's the only road. The narrow path is to be diligent. Because when you desire it, now you're taking your eye. Now you're desiring other stuff that you and your focus is on that instead of doing your work. And if you do your work like we're doing now, the money's gonna come. This is gonna come. But you got to work. You got to do your due diligence.
Mhm.
You see,
Yeah,
and
you
you
have to
can't.
put the time in. Yeah.
You got to put the time in, and you got to do it. Focus and know what your purpose is, and live out that purpose. Other than that, you're in a loop. You're going to be desiring a Lambo. You're going to be and, and like you said, that is the sensation. That is the sin.
Mhm.
So you're caught in the loop. You're caught in the paradox.
Yeah, and that's why luck exists is because of desire. Because they
Right.
think, especially if they get lucky, like if they get lucky, they're like, oh man, I just got what I wanted. Boom, I'm lucky.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, it goes against everything the scriptures say, and a lot, a lot of people, I bring the scripture up all the time. Asking you, sir, he's knocking you, doors should be open to asking, knock. The scripture asking
Yeah.
you to receive, seeking you to find, knocking the door should be open unto you. That's the order. That doesn't say, if you get lucky, the door will be open unto you. It doesn't say that. It says work. It says get your butt up and knock.
Hmm.
It just is what it is. So the luck thing, I think the luck is a distraction. With the lottery and one person gets chosen and they put all this stuff out there to make you shoot one or you kill one, you scare 1,000. So you do one example, you paralyze tens of thousands of people because they're going to be expecting that result. For some humans, they expect the amount of least resistance, the easy way. They like to cut corners. So if I could get this, if I could just, do what this guy's doing, or they see the outside, and then maybe I could get $1,000,000.
Hmm.
Maybe I could rap and all right, I put a couple of beats together and say something over the beat, and then put it on SoundScan. I mean SoundCloud. Maybe somebody will listen to it and give me a check for $1,000,000. What?
Yeah.
That goes to the next topic. Let's kind of transition. What are we looking like time wise?
23 right now, but
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, you are.
We got about 10.
You know,
Huh?
it's like what you just said is like a dartboard. They're trying to play darts. They're trying to hit that
Right,
that spot. And
right, right.
not
Not
everyone
only that, it
can hit
just is
those
not
things.
effective. It goes against. You're going against your own nature. You're going against the laws of the universe.
Yeah,
You see,
yeah, because the universe works for us at all times.
for you. So you're not put. You're trying to get something that you're not focused on.
Yeah.
You're trying to randomly make these events happen and coincide, and you're trying to boycott. You're trying to usurp the meditation. You're trying to usurp the manifestation. You're trying to usurp the work. You're just trying to have it randomly come together and coincide.
Yeah, a good example would be like a puzzle, right? With that the jigsaw puzzles, like
Right.
you're expecting a jigsaw puzzle to be completed when you throw it in the air and all the pieces land in the exact same spot, but that's not how it works. Yeah.
or you got a Rubik's cube and you're just twisting it
Mhm.
with no strategy. I'm gonna keep twisting, and eventually the color's gonna come together.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that one too. Yeah.
You know, that's what most people grab a usually do when they just twist it.
Mhm.
This is not coming together. You have to have a strategy.
Mhm.
What are we
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, plan. Yeah.
You got to plan. All right, when I do this move, this move, this move. That's why most never. They got thousands of people have never came close to to actually solving the Rubik's cube because they don't have a game plan together. They think if I randomly keep twisting this thing, it's eventually going to come together. False. That's not the object of the game. The object of the game is to strategically make moves and get them all on the same accord. That's what this is. That's what life is about. That's why I asked you, have you seen the movie Cube?
Yeah, I haven't. No.
Great movie about strategy. Let's talk about the perfect segue to serious versus delirious. A lot of people live in this delusion. It's a delusion. A lot of people, and I talked about this earlier on the 8th blog, is that I think delusion comes from it's a coping mechanism because people do not want to accept reality. And it's easier to daydream and it's easier to make things up than actually deal with what's in front of their face.
Yeah, I
In
would.
their mind, they're the prince of Zamunda. And it's easier to make that fantasy up in your head than actually, hey, I'm broke. Let me deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree, especially in the culture of the internet and everything like that. That the delusion goes around pretty hard most of the
Right.
time. And
People,
yeah,
spending your last money on a vacation, talking about you're living your best life. You're delusional. You're borrowing money. You're charging this on a credit card. You're going to pay interest on this vacation. But that's living your best life. You're delusional. You see, a
yeah,
lot of people, that's like me saying I got a great body. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for Mr. Olympia right now. They will laugh me off the stage.
but yeah, but I mean, once you can get people to break the pattern and see the delusion, I think that's what. So you get to I call it the crossroads, right? Where you can either accept your situation and take like what we talked about on the show, ownership of the situation,
Right,
and no matter how bad the situation is, just accept it. If you are broke, just admit that you're broke.
right.
Don't try to, I guess, spend outside your means. I mean, I know it's hard for some people, but I mean, it's just that's what you should do. But you hit that crossroads, and like you said, a lot of people choose to live in that delusional state instead of trying to improve themselves. Or
Right.
if you're stuck at a dead end job where you can't grow as a human being, then what are you doing? You got to keep on moving forward and accepting that your life that you're living, if that's not where you want to be, you got to change it.
That's it. You're reading my mind on this. You're actually getting better at this. Because that's one of the next points that I want to make. That's exactly what you need to do. You need to own your situation, and you got to own the fact that some people you will never be rich. Some people are not to be rich. You got to realize you got to look in the mirror and say, "Hey, I'm too lazy to be rich. I'm too
That's all.
lazy."
That's all it is. It is.
Just admit, instead of, hey, one day, maybe, sort of, I'm going to do this, and you're lying to yourself because you're never going to finish anything. You're going to start it and stop. So, if hard work scares you, if getting out there scares you, doing the dirty work, rolling up your sleeve, then just tell yourself the truth. Save yourself the time. Get people have, and I don't want to name the brother. One of my brothers that's in my blue lines is perfect for this. He used to be an entrepreneur. He's like, I can't hack it. I don't like. I'm not that life. I went got me a middle management job, and that's all I'm gonna be. Perfect. He took ownership of his life, and he's happy in his middle management. Well, he works, 6 to 3:30 job, and he has no ambition or no qualms of trying to move up. He's a middle management candidate. I would rather that than people live in delusion.
Yeah, because that's the ownership. Like we talk about all the time. Not everyone is designed to be at the top. Everyone has
What,
their part to play, like
what,
in an ant colony. Everyone has their part. You want to figure out what your purpose is, and that's where a lot of the delusion comes from. Is they see
right,
the TV and the grandeur
right,
in all of society, and like, oh, this is how people live.
right,
And then they base then they that's where the desire and the envy. It's envy too. Envy is another deadly sin. It's the envy and desire that stops them from getting to their dreams because they see other people's dreams instead of what they want as a person, because they would rather be envious and desirous of things that they don't have instead of working on themselves into things that they are trying to achieve, achievable goals. That's
right.
what that's why I have those achievable goals.
And that's the difference between Gen X and Gen Z. We still have, and even though a lot of us, I'm not going to say the whole generation, we still have, some of us have our heads in the clouds, but at least some of us have at least one foot on the ground still. I think Gen Z, all of our heads are in the cloud. Not all of them. I mean, some of them probably got their head, but most of them, some but not all, have their heads in the clouds. They want to live other people's lives, what they see online.
Yeah.
And it's either ball or nothing. And what happened to the average Joe? And so instead of embracing what you are, embracing your skill set, they try to hop in somebody else's lane. And when it doesn't work, they have no, again, the Rubik's Cube. All right, I'm going to get in that lane and I'm going to just twist it. And then hopefully it'll come together. You have no game plan. So, oh shit, it didn't come together. All right, let me try this. Didn't come together. Didn't come together. Before you know it, you're my age. And you
Yeah.
did absolutely nothing with your life.
I think Jay-Z has a good quote talking about wasting your life at Subway, because all they've been doing, they've just been serving sandwiches. And, and
Right.
that's a metaphor because, you can be doing something else if you work hard at it.
Well, I could appreciate a sandwich artist
Mm-hmm.
if you know that's what you are capable of. Hey, I like to smoke. I like to drink. I don't have the work ethic to be a CEO. I hate college. I hate learning. I hate reading books. Admit it.
Yeah.
Be the best sandwich artist that you can. Be the top of the line sandwich artist. You see, that's what we're missing. We used to have, and this is even before my generation. Let's say the baby boomers and so on. People took pride in being a plumber. People took pride in being an electrician. People took pride in being the milkman. Now everybody wants to be Jay-Z. If you're not Jay-Z, you're not doing anything. And you don't have the skill set to be Jay-Z. You can't freestyle.
Yeah, off the top of your head.
Yeah, you can't freestyle. When you rap, you sound retarded. You see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is what we're missing, and that's why I want see how this all comes together. I think it's a generational thing. We need to go back to some people need to be plumbers, some people need to be milkmen or whatever. Some people you're not going to be more than an Uber driver.
Yep. And I think that's okay. And that's where like you said, that's where the delusion comes in because of the grandeur. And like just to go back to the point is like if you're sitting there and you list all the qualities that you have, and then you list all the bad qualities that you have, and if you don't like the bad qualities, like say, hey, I don't like to read, but I probably should be reading. You set a goal. Maybe I can start with a book every 2 months. Read 20 pages a day. If you really want to break the loop and break that delusion of how to get yourself better, you should try to fix your errors.
Right, and that's the next segment. That's the last segment. We're at 34, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. Solutions, yeah. If you really want to come to this side, you really have to, first of all, like Steve said, take ownership if you don't like reading books, if you don't like outside sweating, shaking hands, kissing babies in front of people, selling stuff like that, you don't like sleepless nights. First of all, this might not be for you. But if you have a stomach for it, if you could if you could sell a little bit, you want to get better. If you don't mind hustling, you want to get better. And if you don't mind reading and learning and being coachable, you want to get better at that. And you don't mind taking constructive criticism, you want to get better at that. You might could come onto the side because, like I said, none of us was born entrepreneurs. You have to be taught. Now, some people adapt quicker than others. If your father was an entrepreneur, you might, just like anything else. If your father's in and you were raised around it, you might be more susceptible to it. But people like myself, that entrepreneurism was not taught in my family, that I have to go outside and seek mentorship and, just use my energy and my vigor and my diligence to become good at it. Then, you got to be coachable. So you got to really be honest with yourself. If you like beer and video games, you like smoking weed, you like having fun, going to the club, turning up, as opposed to learning self-discipline, self-starting, this might not be for you. Find something middle management. Find a trade where you can make a decent living. Become an electrician. Become a plumber. Joe the plumber was making like $100,000 a year, right?
Yeah.
So become a plumber, get a trade. My cousin, that used to be in business with me, I salute him. Business wasn't for him. So he became an electrician.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
now he's studied, a little bit of me rubbed off on him. This was like 10 years ago. Now he got mentorship. Now he's trying to take his electrician business and bid on contracts and like do stuff for like Facebook and stuff like that. As far as take the grid their I think their bases, their servers and stuff like that. So he's bidding on contracts and stuff now. So take what be you within your circumference. Everybody can't be Jay-Z. I don't get it. Everybody trying to rap. Everybody trying to do the same thing. Trying to be reality stars. Trying to be YouTubers. It's just not for everybody.
And then they try to get to that stardom without any due diligence, like you say. That's how you get the corruption and morality too, and your ethics, and that becomes a bigger problem in society overall.
Right. Let me before I get out of here, I had one more scripture that I wanted to bring up. Hold on, let me punch it up here. Hold on a second. Hold on, let's see. Can you see? Let's see if I can share the screen real quick.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. So Ephesians 3:20. It says, "Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us." Let me repeat it. Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that's working within us. So again, basically breaking it down, it's all about work ethic, according to the scriptures. He that could work exceedingly abundantly. This is right there. I'll let you break that down, and then we can get up out of here.
Yeah, I would take that one a little bit differently. The surface level meaning of that is, the work ethic. You work above all else and things, but it's actually metaphorically speaking, it's about the heart. You have to have, which I guess is work ethic, but you have to have that unselfish heart, because it says ask and think of me, like you're doing everything for others too at that point. And that goes into my closing arguments, that would be that you get what you give in this world. You know,
Right.
if you're selfish and you don't want to help people and you don't want to help yourself and you're just me, I'm going to
Right.
be the star of my reality show and not care about anything else, then you're not going to get very far because the meaning of life is you get what you give. If
Right.
you give back, if you give your heart and soul into this thing that we're in, that we call life, you're going to get a really pleasant outcome. Surprisingly, we're taught to believe that everything is negative because everything is negative around us. But if you open up your heart and you give back, and I'm not talking about millionaires who give to charities, I'm talking about the little things,
Right.
everyday things that could change people's lives. You get what you give. If you help people, you help yourself, you better yourself, and the universe will always give back to you. And that's what it is. You get
Right.
what you give, you build what you build, and if you do it with a good heart, you'll go far in this life.
Right. And that's why the heart chakra is in the middle. It's the balancer. It's the balance beam. So not to get on that, but my closing arguments, yeah, it all starts with the actual work ethic and the focus, the intent behind the work ethic. Is just as important. So if you're working to try to do stuff in vanity, which is it's all vanity, but knowing that it's more than just about you, you should be blessed abundantly. And like I said, the universe works for you. But if you're doing stuff that, first of all, if you don't move and you're not, you just want to take, that's not how this works. That's why they're talking about the sluggish. Because and that first verse from Proverbs, you're sluggish because you're it's almost the same thing as gluttony. You want to receive, intake and intake without giving back. So that's the thing about gluttony, is that you want to pig out, you want to take everything for yourself. You want to take it, and the same thing with lazy and sloth is kind of the same thing. You're selfish. You want to, just you don't want to work, and you don't want to maximize your potential. You want to lay around, and that's taking. And pretty soon, like, all right, you want to lay around, you're not um, you're not balancing this thing out. So again, there's no luck. I don't believe in luck as far as getting serious. You can, but you got to own it first, and we're gonna leave it at that. um let's go ahead. You got anything that you need to promote? I'm not gonna promote everything, but we're gonna go through the
I mean, just I guess just some fuel to the fire. I mean, I don't have anything going on. It's the holiday season.
right.
Everyone can try to enjoy it with their family if they can in these trying times. I'd say a good place to start if people are curious is just Google what Christmas means, and you'll find a lot of the answers you're looking for in there.
Right. So with that being said, don't forget, if you like what we're doing, hit us on the Cash App, the Power of Ownership. Steven has his own Cash App, Steven C1234. You can hit me, hocmortgage.com, billionaireloanofficer.com, 832-775-8357. You can hit me 24/7 at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. And you can hit Steven Contreras at Steven_Contreras_90 on all social media. And then we're going to leave you with that. Remember that God is a verb, and personal responsibility is your only savior. With that, I'm going to say
Peace.
peace.